So welcome back, family. According to reports, Washington has given a conditional offer to the Alliance of Sahel States. I want you to get this very, very clearly. This report is coming out of Western media, like First Post, Al Jazeera. They said the diplomatic mission of Nick Checker to Mali is, and when they say these things on the outside, you think probably maybe they said something very, very nice. Okay. According to information that we're getting on the outside, the whole Kabuki theater of the US on platform like X, where they were trying to manipulate the public to make it look like they were coming for a win-win partnership and all of that. So the information we got was that US, thank you so much, family. The US is coming to Mali with a request. Now, according to their media sources, they call it a conditional offer that they will partner with the AES state in terms of security and in terms of economy, in terms of diplomacy, if the AES parts their way with Russia. That is one of their conditions via Nick Checker. You see, the whole visitation of Nick Checker to Mali, this is the purpose, okay? That the Alliance of Sahel States should part their relationship with Russia. Secondly, they said the AES states should, apart from ending the contract with Russia, they said they should return to constitutional rule. That is what they just said. Now, let me say something categorically. The reason why they are coming with this offer, you see, when you look at everything they just stated right here, now you know why some of the coastal countries are misbehaving. Um, you know, I kind of look at everything and I feel like there is still a feeling out there uh, by some of the states that the AES is changing masters. That is what they think. That is what they feel like. And feeling does not dictate terms and conditions. Feeling does not, dictate the calculus of diplomacy. Feeling does not dictate the determination of like a nation. No, it's not by feeling. It's not by what side of the bed you woke up on. No, it's not like that. You don't wake up and because you feel good this morning, you want to say certain things. No, it wasn't. These things were not dictated by feelings. So coming to Mali and giving a conditional offer is ludicrous, in my opinion. Saying they should dish relationship with Russia and that they should not only dish relationship with Russia. Welcome to the building. That they should go back to constitutional rule. Now, my question is this: how do you define constitutional rule, right? If constitutional rule is supposed to be power to the people, right, through whatever process, right? And the people are saying that these are the people they want. To me, I've been able to define what they feel when, because they don't talk based on written policies. These people talk based on how they feel, and that is the way of the dirty dealers. Okay, um, when you talk about constitutional order, the constitution is what has been written. Okay, and that constitution the power of that constitution should stay with the people. So if the people of the Alliance of Sahel State are saying that they want those people, you know, uh, when they say constitutional order, what they mean from the Western side of the world is when you are a puppet, when you are, they told Ibrahim Traore that he can rule whichever way he wants, but he must agree to some terms. And, Ibrahim Traore did not agree, and all hell broke loose. Now, let me explain very well the broader geopolitical perspective of things so that you can understand why they are itching. Thank you so much, family. Um, They felt like Africans lived in a box. That was their feeling, that as an African person, you don't live beyond, like, mentally and geopolitically, you don't live beyond the encirclement of their colonial influence. So the belief that a certain Western country has a certain sphere of influence in Africa, probably via the Berlin Conference. So they feel like I said, these people are not living based on the mental calculus. They are living based on emotional calculus. Because when you are dealing with somebody, you are dealing with a grandmaster, right? That has a very, very good strategic pattern of operation, great mental calculus, you will be able to figure that anybody that is very, very smart would have probably been able to get back on terms with the Sahelian states based on mutual respect. Look, what the AES states are demanding is not even hard at all. But you can see that those people have gone uh, from being civilized to being very, very uncivilized. That's me talking um, in a very civil way right now. So they are uncivilized people because how do you come and make demands? You know, you are making demands where you don't even exist. So what they felt was that immediately they stopped all their aids, right? We are no longer giving you aids. That is one of the two of mental manipulation in Africa. Okay, they say we are cutting aids. I remember when the Netherlands, um, I think Bosnia and Herzegovina, and one other nation, when they said, and I think Belgium, when they left Burkina Faso, and they said that they will not be giving aids to the Burkinabes. You see, the diabolic aspect of things is everything they try to use as a tool for emotional manipulation, for mental manipulation, subversive control of narrative and everything, they did not succeed. And this has kind of caused a lot of problem for them because they can no longer control, the dynamics of everything. This is the first time that we can categorically say that they completely lost control. Okay, they lost complete control of the whole influence they used to have. They lost control of the religious tool because there is a way religious play a role in making you, whoever you are, there is a way they use religion in making everybody a proxy. You might not understand, but there is a certain way religion buys your allegiance. There is a certain way religion makes you um, a proxy, and you don't know. You know it's not your fault. That is what brought about the conversation of David Udeyin saying that Nigerians believe that they are deputy Westerners. So there is a way they can divide you by the proxy of religion. That is another tool entirely that we will discuss in some other conversation. Okay. But according to the report we are getting, the Malians did not accept these terms. Right now, as we are even discussing right now, I can tell you that majority of the Android community will look at this request and they will walk away without even thinking twice. How do you come to a country and tell them that they should close their partnership with their security partner? You see, the situation in Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger is an embarrassment to their entire existence because of the parochial way of thinking. They believe that when we turn our back against these people, who would they run to? We are the greatest military in the world. We are the greatest economy on the planet. Um, the this, the that, the that, the this. So the thing is, they felt like if they turn away from uranium, from Niger, when it comes to the uranium, that Niger does not have the capabilities to explore their uranium, reserve. Unfortunately, the world moved on. They left a gap. And you see, life, there is no space for vacuum. Even though vacuum itself is a space, but there is no space for vacuum. When you reach and you reach and you reach, if care is not taken, you might get schooled. So they made a very big mistake, right there. And the Alliance of Sahel States make them pay. You know, the French people reached, the Sahel schooled them, you know, the US made a mistake, and the AES state once again made them pay. Don't forget, while we are having this conversation, the visa restriction on the AES state is still there. Okay, why they are coming and they are making this type of requests. So, how will anyone in their normal sense say that they should end their military cooperation with the Russians? And I don't know, but I think there is a way these people think, even though they see that there is no solution, they continue to ram the same door, even though they know the door is forever closed on them. They continue to ram it, believing that some way, somehow, some sort of miracle is going to happen. You see, any thinking person that looks at the situation in the DRC will categorically understand that the war in DRC, the entire entity of the M23 was created, was formed to recolonize DRC. For the ones that watched the video I posted yesterday, you can actually see that DRC government official that was talking. That guy was not even supposed, in fact, that guy is not even supposed to represent any country at any capacity in Africa. His speech was very slow. And now we offer this mineral, that mineral. America will have the first right to a mineral that belongs to DRC. Like I said, the ancestors in DRC, they are not turning in the grave, they are back flipping. They are front flipping, they are back flipping, because the situation in the DRC is desperate. Now they're talking about a peace deal in DRC. You see, this thing is problem and solution type of theory, and it's no longer working. They will create terrorism, and they believe because America has the heart to pee, the right to protect, right? Look, these people leverage on every type of advantage they have. So their belief is that when they create terrorism, you will look for them. Yeah, because to them, they have been able to prove to the world that they are the ones that have that capability of addressing terrorism. Hence, they were given the control of the right to protect. That America has the right to go to any nation if that nation is struggling very bad with terrorism, to go and offer help to them. That is why you see that they continue to come to the Alliance of Sahel States, and they continue to say that their main objective is security. Is security. You can see that there is nothing valuable. Excuse my way of talking this morning if it sounds bad to some people. Um, because I know the good, the bad, they watch the Android community, so I have to make that very, very clear in that on that note. So they have nothing strategically beneficial to offer the Alliance of Sahel State. You can see that the Russians, they are giving scholarships, they are taking the cosmonauts to, they have slots for training of Burkinabe students, the Roscosmos, no, the the nuclear, the Rosatom, They are going to be training over 200 nuclear scientists from the Alliance of Sahel States. I mean, for each of them. So overall, you have about 600 students. So these things are privilege that any African country does not get. And even when you have the opportunity to go out there to study in their country, at the end of the day, they don't give you these offers. Even if they are going to do anything, they are going to dump it down. So now let's go into the details, right? So the United States works with now they created a situation in the Sahel. Let's get it very, very clear. The terrorism situation in the Sahel, they call it Daesh, they call it Al Qaeda, whatever, is their creation. They've said it several times that they created Al Qaeda and all of that. So and they were funding the Al Qaeda through Africom before they transformed their methodology to funding the terrorists through the NGOs. Those type of new model. The Alliance of Sahel States, they grew to that level. They discovered and uncovered the plots. Now I don't know the new strategy. So now, but we'll keep studying to actually discover what the new style is. We'll get to one very big information very soon. So now, what they are doing is to try to establish some sort of diplomacy, go back to election. The reason why they are talking about constitutional order, aka Western democratic pattern, is because with that pattern, they don't have to send this number of diplomats. They have to, with that, they will flood your community, they will flood your country, they will flood your market with Western ideology, with Western education. You see, their pattern, their model is to make people, right, subservient, to make people desire to want to be like them. So one of the biggest threats to the American empire is when they see a certain people that does not desire to be like them in any way or form, then there is a problem. Either through religion or whatsoever, they are going to, in fact, get everything twisted. The fact that you don't want to be like Americans is a problem to their interest, because the moment you desire to be like them, that's the moment they have control over you. Do you get what I'm saying? So they created the terrorism in the Sahel, and they continue to come and ask the Sahel, right? We can help you against these jihadists. It's like I am introducing a sort of quinine resistant uh, malaria or plasmodium through a mosquito, and the mosquito just took a bite, right? And took a blood meal from this individual. And I'm going to that individual and telling the individual, I have the ACT combined therapy. Do you mind if I treat you? But this person is telling me that my immunity is enough to take care of me, right? But I'm trying to tell the person, I can tell you what I have. Your immunity is not strong enough to give you the same results that I'm going to give you. It is because I initiated the whole process from the start. Now, let me tell you the difference. In DRC, there was no fight in the dog because there were a lot of traitors. If you look at the history from way back, over there, that's the home of traitors. If you look at how Lumumba was treated during his dying moments and all of that, to be honest with you, I kind of don't pity the DRC like that. But their situation is just very, very, desperate sometimes. I kind of don't have any shred of pity in me for them like that. So, um, the situation in the DRC, right? No, I didn't block you. I didn't block you. Probably they didn't want you to see my information. Yeah, they didn't want you to see my information. So what happened was that in DRC they created the terrorism, and you know the DRC people did not have the mental strength, they didn't have the fortitude, the temerity to fight, the arrogance to double down and be like, we are not going to negotiate. We are going to fight to the very last breathing Congolese. They did not have that cojones. Hence, the sovereignty of that nation is gone forever. Now, they created the same conquest methodology, they apply the same technique in the Sahel, but now they're seeing some human beings with so much guts that are saying, look, we will fight these people to the very last breathing Sahelian citizen. You know, now it is because of this resilience from those people. In fact, to a point where it's no longer seen as resilience, it's seen as the desire to fight. So now you can see that sometimes they give credit to them. Sometimes they make false flag, um, propagandas like we want all our citizens to leave and all of that. You see, this whole thing is to cause a sort of mental fatigue. They continue to send diplomats after diplomat after diplomat. But you know, when you're playing the devil with the devil, you have to have a long spoon, and apart from having a long spoon, you have to be mentally prepared for a long fight. You know, at some point it's going to be a dogfight. At some point it's going to be a long fight. You see, they discover now that okay, their jihadists are no longer working like that they prepared them to work, because the way the jihadists are supposed to work was to completely paralyze the military capabilities of this country. After paralyzing the military capabilities, they were going to tell the citizen, you know, the way the citizens operate, right? The citizens can give up very quickly in some situation, most especially when they see that most especially when they see that the jihadists, right, can not, when they see that the capabilities of the country cannot match the pressure coming from the jihadists, most of the time, you know, some people just be like, man, let's give up the fight, you know. But now they are seeing a unit in the AES state. You know, the Alliance of Sahel States is so much of a threat to those people to the point where they go after bloggers, they go after anything, everything. Because, and you see, the longer this takes, right, the more terrible is going to be for their interests. That is why they are more desperate than ever. So now the AES states defy the odds by taking on these terrorists by themselves. Now, to make it more difficult to put the Western nation in the vantage position, a vampire movie. Okay, I'll try. Um, you see, the way they wanted to do it before, at the start of this operation, if you remember, Asimi Goida said they blocked all weapon supply. They made sure that they stopped all weapon supply, all, to Burkina Faso, to Mali, to Niger, no weapon supply. But unfortunately, um, the Russians came through, the Chinese came through, the Turks came through at some point. Even though we're beginning to get reports that the talks have some sort of agenda. Okay, I'm rushing because I'm currently trying my best to network and believe that you will be of great help. All right, no problem. As long as I'm dealing with, you know, it doesn't matter. We deal with everybody and anybody as long as they have the interest of Africans at heart. We are good. So now the fight became too hard for them. Okay, the terrorists, because When you say the terrorists, you are equally talking about them because they control, they command controls, they give the logistics, they provide the money, they provide the weapons, they recruit, they pay the recruiters. You know, they are in charge of the terrorists so much so that they know when there is a big shift. They are the ones responsible for the targeting. They're the ones that, the satellite monitoring. They do all these things. Okay. So they know when they are getting smashed all over the place. You can see that now they see that. Expect now, let me explain something to you. There is a reason why they said the Malian military is now the first in the francophone bloc of West Africa, because their troops, their Nazi troops in the Sahel, are losing massively in Mali. They can see that, oh man, a lot of our recruits are going down by the day. They are going down in Burkina Faso. But I think the reason why they are not trying to be very, very honest about Burkina Faso is because of some of the things that Captain Ibrahim Traore has said that have seriously undermined them. So they'll be like, no, we're not about to give that dude some credit. You see, their relationship with Traore is very, very personal. Like, I don't want to say some things, right? But they have failed. So you can see that they were in Niger recently. They made a visit to Burkina Faso. Now they came to Mali, and look at the requests. That was a no-no from the very beginning. So this is another no. So now that this no is coming, uh, you should prepare. Now look at the operation in Niger. If you watch the video I posted yesterday, you can see that the Nigerian parliamentary member, the Malian parliament, they are saying that, how is it possible that some bunch of herders, cattle breeders, right? People that have no business with operation of drones and all of that, that they're getting training from. Okay, that aside, let's leave the drone, operation and training aside. How is it that they're coming, with so much, financial logistics, right? How did they come to terms with that? How did some bunch of jihadists that live in the bush think so elite of thinking about civilian energy blockade that they wanted to impose in Mali? You see, you don't have to look for the answer. You don't have to look too far. Where in the world right now are you seeing a sort of attack on civilian energy infrastructure? You are seeing it in the Eastern European, where Russia and Ukraine are going ahead, and you are seeing, because let's be very clear on something. Russia was not the first to start attacking the civilian energy infrastructure. It was the Western idea via the CIA that started look like, okay, let's sanction their energy. So when they bomb the Russian energy capabilities, what they say is that we have been able to sanction their energy. So they imposed this same methodology in the Sahel. Now the CIA has always had this type of all these methodologies, but what surprised them the most was that all these things is to achieve one aim: a regime change. That is the biggest purpose of, attacking the civilian energy infrastructure. But the biggest surprise was that even in the midst of all this, the Malians, they stood with their government. The Malians showed to the world that, look, oh, thank you so much, family. Your content is great and very insightful. I'm going to try my best to network, and I believe that you will be you'll be of great help. How can we get in contact? My WhatsApp number is on my bio, or um you can leave a comment in the comment section after, mm, and you can message us on our Telegram channel. The link to my Telegram is there. So you will just talk to us on our Telegram channel, because we've had situations where we brought people on the Android community and we found out that those people have some certain interest to undermine the AES state, and very very quickly we were able to discover and were able to neutralize their entire plan. So um I would prefer you come to our Telegram channel. So if you come to our Telegram channel, um yeah, so a lot of people are going to be able to um a lot of people are going to be able to, you know you better. So we'll work, as long as everything you represent is to the interest of our people. We will definitely work. So thank you very much. Like I said, I will be very very interested to work with you. Thanks so much for the donation. I really really appreciate it. I really really appreciate the support. I appreciate the support. I don't take it for granted. So now they failed, right? So they are looking at the Sahel like, man, you are doing too much. You are supposed to come back to us. You are not coming to us. You are buying so much equipment. Now, the more the Sahelian state buy so much equipment, the more they feel very, very sad. Why? Their military industrial complex is not tired of gulping money. Now, we had a message yesterday that we had some sort of information that France actually lied about the true mineral wealth of the Alliance of Sahel States. Why they did that, I don't know. So that is why you've been hearing from some anonymous quarter that Niger's uranium, capacity is even greater than what you are seeing on paper. Okay, according to information, Niger's uranium is even larger than that of Kazakhstan and whatever thing they're trying to project. So, based on studies, right, from research, France lied about the mineral capabilities of the Sahel states. You can see that they talk about Mali and Niger in some level, at some level. Sitting down with your kids. Yes, exactly. So the thing is, you can hear from Captain Ibrahim Traore saying that Burkina Faso is extremely rich based on their mineral resource wealth, right? Now, that is Burkina Faso. That when you look at the three countries and you look at their resource capabilities, right? People don't really talk about the resource capability of Burkina Faso like they will talk about Mali and Niger. So imagine if Captain Ibrahim Traore is saying that. Imagine the mineral wealth of Mali and Niger. So on paper, there is a lot of manipulation going on. So now, the only reason why all this information is coming out is they said the countries are poor, right? France left, and we saw the instantaneous shift in the French economy, right? Everything went, you know, out of the window. So now you can see that it is very hard for them to just let go, because now France will now have to buy uranium like every other country they were supplying uranium to. So do you know how that feels? It's like you are a landlord. You have several apartments. You now have to feel what your tenants have been feeling. You now have to go back from being a landlord to a common tenant, not just a common tenant, a tenant that's, there are some of the tenants that, you see, if you're a tenant and you've never had a taste of being a landlord before, it's better. But it's much worse when you've been a landlord before and now you become a tenant. And the people that are giving you accommodation, they know you as a landlord before. They will treat you very bad. Because they will still come with this high shoulder that, yes, I'm the this, I'm the that. And at the end of the day, you tell them like, you know what, you're nobody right now. So you have to kill and buy uranium like every other person. Imagine you were a supplier of uranium, yet you have none. They call you the fourth largest gold reserve, yet you have no gold in your country. So, ladies and gentlemen, so the only reason why the Americans are requesting for, constitutional order or whatever is so that they don't have to struggle like this to go in to achieve their, foreign interests, which is to trample on the mineral wealth of that country, installing a criminal who has no shred of emotion or love for his people, and carry out their, their subversive action, emasculating the entire country and making the citizens desire to want to travel to their nation. You see, when I you don't need inner consciousness. When you hear these things that they say that their country is the greatest on the planet and all of that, you should laugh as an African. Wherever you are, you should be laughing when you hear them brag about their country right now. Because if history was to be inverted once again, like reset everything and let everything come the way it's supposed to be, none of this nation is as great as the DRC. Just the DRC alone. None of them. Maybe Russia is going to touch. Maybe the Chinese are going to touch. Um, Look, this is just the AES we are talking about. So at the end of the day, what I'm still going to say is this: it all comes down to one thing. It all comes down to the fact that the Alliance of Sahel States is giving Africa a template and a model that to survive in this dog eat dog world, you need to unite. See, we know that there are some puppets and there are some traders. Like you saw that interview yesterday where they had a debate, and to them now, we would not understand what they were doing. You see, like I said, and I've said it before, more than 500,000 homeless in the US. You see what I'm saying? So it comes with a bigger objective of why we do what we do. And you see, they are even getting more rejection from Africans right now. I'm talking about we that are in Africa. Don't forget, there are Africans in diaspora. We've been like this. We've been like this, living with this knowledge for a very long time. Okay, when we watch a foreign movie and we see a black person, this person in that movie is representing us. So every time you make a black person the enemy in the movie, we see that. Every time you arrest a black person and you kind of intimidate them and you do that, we see that. So everything is coming down to this moment. So if anyone think that based on history that was written in blood and sweat and tears, that somebody will come under the pretext of you are dressing in some suit or whatever, and you can come and no, this is time for everybody to get their payback. And it's not just time. It's not just time. It's not like it's going to happen in my time and it's going to disappear some other time. No, it's going to continue like this. So you can brag that you are the greatest continent on the you are the greatest country on the planet. You can do all that in your space, not here. The bigger objective of this community and so many other great true Pan-African communities to make sure that our brothers in diaspora that they come back home. Now, we are not just saying they should come back home. That we do so much, that we invest enough in the community and in the people to a point where they will be enticed to come back. Such a way that when they come back, it will be easy for them to be able to live with us again. That's the big picture, actually. So now, that's a failed objective right there for the US. I'm so sorry about that. Their condolences can stay with them. So now, the debate yesterday with Emmanuel Macron is one of the, tactics that they've been using. Emmanuel Macron have been studying his speech for quite a while. He has been asking for debates. That if the Sahel states, oh, good night, family, good night. That if the Sahel states have a feeling that what he is doing is not right, that they can debate him. If he's wrong, he will apologize and all of that. Nobody cares about your debates, you know. And let's not forget, Emmanuel Macron was an agent. Like, you see, they won't win this. But you see, this current war that is being waged, they don't have what it takes to win. You see, they can never ever do. But like I said, Emmanuel Macron was an agent before he even came to power. He was not just an ordinary person. So, and you can see that a lot of people were clapping in that debate. It is not, look, when a lot of people talk about France, they mention Macron. No, please, families, don't get it twisted. It's not Macron that feels this way. It's the French deep state that has this feeling. If they change regime tomorrow, the new regime that is going to come in, see, this is the Western template of governance. They have a deep state, right? That is why their system, right, even though the system has been living on some fake foundations, right, the longevity of that system has been for quite a while. And let me tell you this, if they bring in a new regime, the regime is still going to have the same type of sentiment. Now, you see that clap right there, that a lot of people were sharing them, right? They were clapping for her for, being such a very good actress. But we see that. You see, the problem is these people think that Africans are not smart people. That is the biggest mistake in the 21st century. Every technology and information that has ever been given to us, I have been able to discover that Africans outskill them every time. So there are some research that they won't want Africans to have access to, because if we have access to, the world is going to change completely. Imagine giving those knowledge to how many people is going to be unbelievable. Let's just not talk about that right now. But they were clapping because it's a feeling like, okay, if we succeed with this, you are about to make our lives better. It's about it's about them. This is not about Emmanuel Macron. It's not about Emmanuel Macron's personal interests. It's about the French survival. Because this is a matter of survival. This is not just about foreign interest. It's about some of them already, even before anyone informs them, they've realized that we are living and breathing off the back of those people. They know they know the truth already. They know that without those people, there is no us. Facts. Take it to the bank with you. You are going to get some cash. They know, right? That is why you see that they were clapping right there. They're in full support of it. So it's people against people. They are all the same. They have the same. Now, let me digress a little bit. In the video of yesterday, you saw that Tunisian geopolitical analyst or whatever they call them. At first, you see, there is a saying out there that is very wrong, that when you give information to black people, they cannot comprehend. That if you write it in the paper, they will probably throw it away or something. Okay, let me prove them wrong again. You see that Tunisian geopolitical analyst right there is a fake geopolitical analyst. Now, let me explain to you. At first, he said the CIA is trying, he said the US probably via the CIA, that they are trying to turn the Sahel states against the Maghreb. So now I first of all want to thank God. That's a very recent video by Sputnik Africa. Yesterday was when they posted the video. So first of all, I want to appreciate them for the fact that they have now been able to accept what we have been saying for a while, that they are not Africans, that they are Maghrebs. So now I love the fact that they've now accepted that title. Now, in a bid to manipulate the narrative, they said the US CIA is trying to turn the Africans against the Maghrebs because the Maghreb is the best corridor for these Sahelian states to actually put their products in the international market. And when I looked at that claim right there, I was like, all right, this is a lie. This is a big lie because there are so corridors. corridors. Now, you could hear the so-called geopolitical analyst saying the Gulf of Guinea is not the future for the Alliance of Sahel States. That they were talking about Algeria. They were propping Algeria up so much. First of all, Tunisia is a very small country. You know, um, according to him, he said that the Americans are trying to make it look like the Maghrebs have the white Maghrebs. Yes, according to him, that they have some imperialist agenda or whatever. We don't care. But look, the Maghrebs in this particular conversation, they are nobody. In this particular, the Maghrebs are nobody. Like I always say, anybody can be a nobody in one sec. So I don't know what type of feeling that Maghreb right there was. I don't know what gave him the cojones to even make all those type of statements. Like we don't even look everybody in in the whole of the Maghreb. We don't rate, like we don't even want, man. These people really they miss the real story. They are missing this dance, and somebody must maybe re-invite them into the party, right? They missed it. Like Maghrebs, oh man, don't bring yourself into this conversation. You are not, we don't even consider you at all in any capacity. You see, that history that have been written, whatever way, stay with it. We don't even consider we don't look at the Maghreb like nothing. You can have whatever, you stay in your desert, man. Come on. So because I know, if they have bad agenda. If they don't have a bad agenda, Algeria will not do what they did to the Malian drones. Look, you can't convince me. So for those, I'm speaking to those in the Andre community, right, that come to visit us once in a while, that will say, I'm trying to separate the Africans from the Maghrebs. There's no separation. We are not same people. We have never been the same people, and we will never be the same people. That's just some facts right there. So know this, and peace. So that's narrative around it. You see, one thing about the Maghreb people is that they are from the Middle East. These people, they extravasated into the African nation out of. You can see that they're trying to take Sudan and all of that. They all have expansionist mindset. So in this dog eats dog world, where you have to stand your ground to survive, you have to understand that, look, nobody is my friend here. We just have either common interest or we don't have common interest. So for the Maghrebs, we are saying we don't have any type of interest to even relate at all. So we don't they are, look, the Maghreb countries are giving asylum to all the the terrorists in the Sahel. All their leaders are given asylum in the Maghreb. But, well, he failed right there with whatever. He started from being a geopolitical analyst. Then he ended the conversation, turning himself on his own head. So I just felt like, man, I don't really have your time, because you already exposed yourself by yourself. Okay? So I don't really need to expose him too much. If you watch that video critically and you look into the nitty-gritties of everything he said, you just know that, man, this is a finished product. Like, try and apply some intelligence, put some capabilities into what you do. Don't just expose yourself so cheaply like that. So they were trying to argue for their own interest. I understand, but we are beyond that already. So according to the recent report, Niger, as of yesterday, their weekly compilation, Niger has neutralized 47 terrorists. This is not part of the Diori Amani operation. So they neutralized 47 jihadists and they captured 21 alive. Uh, they call it a Kotoku, at the Kotoku location. Now, they said this group of jihadists that have been eliminated, given their 72 virgins, according to their paranoid belief, they said the main objective of this particular group that was neutralized is logistic support to the main operatives on the ground. So what the Nigerians are trying to do right now is to weaken the operational capability of the enemy. Now, how do you weaken? When you start, neutralizing the logistic group, you start cutting off their supplies. Medical supplies cannot go in, but they continue to get injured on the line of contact. But now my problem is the 21 that were captured alive. You see, we've gotten to a point where you cannot capture none of these people. You see, oh man. Like I said yesterday I was talking to about 25 people yesterday on the ground, and I told them, you pray I don't become a president of Nigeria. I'm going to go straight to the heart of the enemy. Like I'm going to, the enemies are going to start calling for international help. They are going to start calling the international community. Like, it's going to get very, very ugly for them. Very, very ugly. I see the fight. I can see the fight. And I can see the approach that everybody is supposed, but I don't know, for one reason or the other, the politicians are dodging. If somebody like me come to power in this Nigeria, man, Nigeria is going to be completely unbearable for these people. You kill 200 people. And the politicians are dodging, and they're like, so when I look at this whole thing, I love what the Nigerians are doing. But to look, when you put someone like me in position, I'm even going to do it in a more devastating fashion. Deploying some very dark weapon to the point where I'm telling you, they are going to declare, I'm telling you, it's going to be a total declaration. Because when I look at this whole thing, you see, capturing 21, what are you going to do with those 21? You are going to rehabilitate. You are going to de-radicalize. You are going to call them repentant. Because Niger operates with this same model too. We just have to be honest with that. They de-radicalize and they bring them out. You cannot de-radicalize. You cannot change, right? You cannot change anyone that have accepted, okay, to be the enemy of your people from an ideological perspective. Look, when somebody is hungry, when somebody has no job, when somebody is homeless, they can be desperate. That is a situation you, as the regime, you need to address. When your citizens are in extreme poverty, is your business. But when a group of people are coming from an ideologic standpoint or a religious standpoint to wage a war against the people, you are supposed to carry out, as the authority, you are supposed to carry out one of the darkest operations of all time. In fact, you are supposed to be testing new capabilities that have not been tested. You are supposed to be, in fact, see, look, to be honest with you, I won't lie, I see this whole thing, for someone like me, I see it as an opportunity to display. I see it as an opportunity, in fact, to show so much, in fact, this is an opportunity for you to make them understand. You have to break their will. You don't only have to destroy the terrorists, you have to be able to break the will of the terrorists, to break their belief, break their resistance. Let them understand that, no, what we think we know, we don't really know like that. The best way to destroy an enemy that has an ideologic mindset based on why they wage their war is to wage war on their belief. And for you to do that, you need to break them to a certain point. And you need, while breaking them, you need to apply some certain type of, you need to deploy some certain type of weapon. I'm not talking about bombs here. I'm talking about some sub-zero level type of, capabilities that is going to make people question you, that why are you like this? So, like I said, kudos to the Nigerians for neutralizing 47, but capturing 21 alive, there is no intel that these people want to give you that they've not given you before. The ones that were captured in Burkina Faso, they told Captain Ibrahim Traore that they are able to gain access to the troops when some of the troops are playing sports betting at night. Maybe while they're in their camps and they are watching, and they run all this local reconnaissance with their DJI drone, they spot the lights and they launch an ambush. So these are, look, when you look at the opportunities that the enemies have, they won't have that opportunity if they are dealing with some set of bloodthirsty individuals that go to the front line with the first objective to come back home, with the second objective to get a lot of bodies under their belts. So if they are dealing with those type of people, they will not have the best opportunity to carry out their, aim. So we've captured so much of these jihadists. In fact, we're tired of capturing jihadists. I feel like putting them in your truck and driving them to some prison is a waste of fuel. Look, somebody that has a belief that neutralizing a good citizen, right, a valuable citizen, is doing job, like you are doing you believe. Look at the Nigerian attack. Did you hear the sound you were hearing in the background? So even though they were manipulated to have this type of belief, but when you have this type of belief, somebody like me, I don't have the time. Because de-radicalizing is taking a big risk. I won't de-radicalize you. I will set the table for the negotiation between you and God. That is it. Anything different from that is you, as the leader of that country, you are already carrying out one of the biggest treason. That is why when you look at the Nigerian regime, is a shameful regime on its own. You are capturing this group of people and you are saying they are repentant. No, there's only one place they will repent. They will repent with whoever they serve. They will go and repent with whoever they serve. So kudos to the Nigerians, like I said. They are intensifying the offensive, because you can't sit on the defensive forever. Because if you sit on the defensive, it means that the enemy will always come to launch the attack. And sometimes defense works, but it doesn't work too much. Mentally, defense does not help. Defense sometimes can destroy the enemy capability, even pile a lot of, pile a lot of misery on them, AES Islamic Resistance and BRICS Alliance can punk Nigeria and Ghana, but never defeat the AES Islamic Resistance. Can you imagine what sort of resistance are you talking about? There is no Islamic resistance. There is no Islamic resistance out there. I will just tell you this: the Sahelian leaders are nice people. They are good people. They are lovely people. You don't give somebody like me that opportunity to be in those positions. You will regret whatever belief you have. So let's move forward. The DRC mining rights for the US. Okay. Um, when you look at that mining rights, telling the US that they can come, they will have the first rights to mine your mineral resources. They will have these rights. They will have that right. They will be the ones to decide. Talking about their political, this thing that US will have the right to preside over their politics in DRC. So, ladies and gentlemen, when I read the whole of the report, I won't lie to you, the leadership of DRC currently, they are the problem in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And like I said, the situation in the DRC is not terrible. It's not that bad. But you have some group of people in power that are not ready. They are not ready. So and there is a vast majority of people in DRC. And I know there are still some of their, sleeper espionage capabilities that are not in DRC right now, that are outside the country. Okay, they are not in DRC, they are outside the country. Those assets will be activated once there is somebody that is brave enough to stand up to whatever colonial influence they have in that country and all of that. So I pray for better days for the Democratic Republic of Congo people. But to be honest with you, y'all are in a very, very diabolic situation right now down there. But you need to stand up for your country. You need to. You see all this whole thing that they were doing this Lumumba sign. No, you need to wake up. You need to do some sort of very, very bold. You need to take your country back. That is what you need to do in the DRC right now. So what I would say about the AES isn't fighting to sustain Islam. Look, to be honest with you, let me tell you something. The AES is a very good country. They understand that. Let me be honest with you. The defeated Israel in the 15-month war and then the 12-day war genius. Well, first of all, this is not a spirit. This is not a religious conference group. This is not a religious gathering. Um, like I said, the Alliance of Sahel leaders understand that some of their people have been manipulated to join whatever Western agenda they have, right? But I'm telling you, like somebody that has my kind of heart, if I get into any critical position and I notice that there is any jihadi group or whatever, I am going to deploy some of the most destructive, like I am going to put on a show and I'm going to enjoy the show. Hey, you understand? I'm going to put on the show, and not only am I going to do that, I'm going to enjoy the show. You look, when you are dealing with this type of people, you break their belief down to their roots. You put them some roots. No, it's not meant for this life actually. So when you hear all these excuses that a lot of people are giving, that we have to come on, man, come on. So now, according to the information we had, that the politicians in the AES, they are still making, they are still mobilizing, they are still hoping, right, that maybe some sort of miracle will happen so that they can continue to steal. According to what we heard, there is a media right now that is trying to sponsor a certain type of narrative. They call this media France Afrique Media. Okay, it's a verified page on different media platform. So now, what did they say? They say Africa should mobilize. Now, this is what this media is saying, right? If your name is Andre, my name is not Andre. Now, they said Africa should mobilize for the freedom of two African worthy sons. Who are those two worthy African sons? Ladies and gentlemen, you'll be shocked. Bazoum number one, Damiba number two. Do we understand what is going on in the Persian Gulf right now? We don't care about what is going on in the Persian Gulf. I won't give you that chance to. Now you can never speak on the Andre community again. We're giving you more. We're giving you too much opportunity. This is an African platform. This is not a Persian platform. This is, look, like I've said, I will get into there now. I will get into your matter right now. I'm coming. So now the point, like I said, they said Africans should stand up for two African sons, Mohamed Bazoum and Sandaogo Damiba. Okay, um, that is one of the Maghrebs right there. That is one of these people. I can tell. Like I used to say, I said they used to. When you come to watch both the good and the bad, they are equally here. You know, they are equally here listening. They are not happy most of the time. He's trying to distract me. I understand, but it's not working. I'm one of the biggest problem they have right now. So, so now they are saying that Bazoum, right, and Damiba, that they are this and they are that. Like I said it earlier, I said they are going to try to start painting Bazoum. They already painted Bazoum as a political prisoner. They are going to start trying to, don't worry about the M23. They are going to start trying to paint, you know, um, Damiba as if Damiba is a political prisoner. Damiba is not a political prisoner. Damiba is a criminal. This is not alleged. Damiba is a criminal. You see, but what they want to do is to paint Damiba as if, because don't forget, the objective of Damiba was to go and pave the way for the French interests, right, in Burkina Faso. Damiba, look, when you look at what Damiba was trying to accomplish, you see, that mission was bigger than Damiba. Like I've always said, and I will stand my ground, that mission was bigger than the intention of. See, everything that Damiba did right there was not Damiba doing it. Everything that Sandaogo Damiba did was representing the interest of France and their Western allies. And this was not only done by France. France must have communicated with some other Western state that this is what we're about to do here. I think there is something called the Five Eyes, or is it the Five Eyes? New Zealand, US, Canada. I think there are some countries like that. Those guys would have been informed. This is what we are going for, a regime change operation. They call it this is a regime change. They call it coup d'etat. It's a regime change. Okay? So when you look at what they're trying to do there, that is France trying to come back to the Sahel state through a decapitation operation. But that did not work. So now that it did not work, now initially they were pampering the citizens. I will explain to you. Initially, the objective was make the military look useless, such that the citizen will have this belief that our military is not capable enough to protect us. Then try to make the regime look useless by using terrorists to attack the military. When the terrorists have been able to overpower the military, the people will not have belief in their military again. Then they will start having their belief. They will start, giving their belief to the people that sent the terrorists. That is what is going on in Nigeria right now. The people believe in the US troops that are coming even more than their own troops. This whole manipulation is very clear. But now where they failed was the capabilities of the Alliance of Sahel troops was raised through the roof. That objective did not work. They now, another thing that they saw was that at some point, the citizens were now supporting the regime massively. They've always supported the regime, but they were now making it open. They are now making it public that we are in support of our regime. We are together with our regime. Hence, the operation of the terrorists changed. Start attacking the citizens. That is it. Because before, what they wanted to do was, undermine the authority of the regime, then try to manipulate the citizen to make them feel like, oh, we are for you. We are just against the regime. So if maybe the citizen at some point will say, we don't want you again and all of that, then they will come in and launch another Libya. But that did not happen. Now they tell their local lackeys in form of the terrorists, go after the citizens. But we understand these things, and it's no longer working. The beautiful part of it is that Africans, the 5 eyes, thank you so much. Africans have decided, you know, to stand against this manipulation, because it's not just aggression, it's manipulation first. It's not just aggression, it's manipulation first. So they have completely failed in the Sahel. Let's get that very, very clear. So now, the last information of today, it will still bring the Maghreb into the conversation. Now, there is a serious attack going on, an ideological attack that is going on currently in Nigeria. This is now becoming a public sentiment. What am I trying to say? The Yoruba people, right, the people of my tribe, they are beginning to say that they don't want to accept Islam anymore. Now, it's not yet loud. It's not yet a popular idea. Now, why are they saying this? They are saying this because of the recent terrorist, activities in the country, and because of everything that is going on. They are saying they don't want anything related to Islam. I can recommend a couple platforms where you can get some of this information from. But the truth is, to be honest with you, to an extent, I agree with them a little bit. Now, when you look at religion, the concept of religion is an expansionist concept. How? Your identity gets taken away from you before your very eyes. Now, there are some ways through which your identity can be stolen from you. It can be stolen in a very, very hard way. But this is a soft way of taking people's identity away. What do I mean? You change your name, your tradition gets abandoned. Look, let me not lie to you. When your name is taken from you and is replaced by anything ever, you, by chance or by whatever strategy, you are getting initiated into another community. And it's not look, let me tell you something. God is universal. God is universal. Religion is a little bit sentimental. Go and look at all the crises that is going on right now. It's all around, centered around one thing: religion. Religion. And let me tell you this: before they take your land, they will give you religion. Don't worry. Don't worry. Don't argue. Before they take your land, they give you religion. What happened to the Sudanese? They gave religion to the Sudanese. They took their indigenous name. Ask the Sudanese, what is their indigenous names? Then you start hearing Aziz, Hafiz, Abdul Karim, Abdullah, Moshood. But you don't even know. The Sudanese have lost their own natural identity. They don't have an identity again. Then who came in by virtue of the religious proxy? Thank you very much. The people whose religion, for the Arabs, right? They came in and they started, taking off the ethnic Sudanese. Religion did not save them. I've said this thing before. You have to have a personal relationship with God himself. God is not sentimental. How do you worship In a certain religion, you want to worship. But for you to worship, you have to understand their God does not speak your language. You have to be able to understand that language for you to communicate with their God. You have to first of all understand, if you want to communicate with their God in a very good way, you have to travel down to their country. Economically, you are boosting that country. You have to travel from your country to their country to go and prostrate for some, monument or whatsoever. In the name of you are giving yourself so freely and cheaply by doing that. And go and look at it from generation to generation. I wanted to buy something from a woman which day, and I said, "What's your name?" I was saying Abdul Mujid, Olushola, Abdul something. Olushola is your name. That's what I told her. You see, the rest you acquire them from God knows where. Look at the north of Nigeria right now. Who gave them religion? Because of religion, they accepted the foreigners whose agenda was to expound. Now the Hausas have been emasculated completely. Don't worry. If you want to stand with that religion, you can stay with it. Why do you think the southern Nigerians are saying that they want the US to come and save them? They want the US to come and save them. It is because religion has been able to emasculate. See, on both sides, right? The thing applies to both sides. You need a high level of consciousness to understand this. It's on both sides, but it's different. One side is going by way of illiteracy. One side is going by way of intelligence. To be honest with you, the Western world they are more intelligent than the Arab world. That is why you see them, they will say, it's either you take this religion or we neutralize you. And they will do it in the name of whatever God is have. I can bring materials here. Man, this is what they do. It has happened before in Africa, in Nigeria, right? But you see the West, you see what they did? They because of their intelligence, they made sure that there are so many transliteration and all of that. You can do it. It's the same on both sides. Yes. Look, extremism is on both sides, but it's just the level is different. But it exists on both sides. But the level is different. The Western one is somehow very refined, but the other one is very barbaric. It's manipulative. I go to places, people get touched, but you see that lump does not disappear. So what do you I don't know how to tell people these things. And they have been manipulated to the point where when you see the behavior of some people, right, you will ask yourself, is this a baby right here? So for me to communicate with your God, right, I have to travel down to your country. Your God does not know me. That's what it means. Why did they kill 200 people in Woro community in Kayama in Nigeria? They killed them because they said they will not accept Islam. Now the other side of the whole colonialist, the whole colonization will say, oh, that is good. They are martyrs. You wasted yourself. They're not martyrs. They are not. Who are you? That's the question we're asking. The Sudanese cannot escape this. I'm telling you, they cannot. No, they cannot escape it. They cannot escape it anymore. The religion take away your dressing. You now start tying some macaria on your head. I don't know where that is coming from. The question is, no, look, to be honest with you, look at the argument of that Sudanese. It was like, they asked him, what, are you African or are you Arab? He said, I am Arab. They said, why? He said, I eat Arab food. I speak Arabic. I dress Arabic. I have an Arabic name. Huh? Did you hear that? So even the people that want to take their land, look, they are interested in your land. They are not interested in you. So for you to pray to their God, you have to speak their language. It's manipulation. And it exists on both sides. On both. So like I said, lands will be taken because people allow themselves to be manipulated under the context of religion. Lands will be taken en masse. Christian Nigerians are saying, Donald Trump, he got the message. Look, Donald Trump did not need to come to Nigeria. They told him, please come and save us. Because the Christians have a belief, right? They have a belief, right? The Christians have a belief in Nigeria. The Americans are the affiliates of God. Like they are the main creation. Look, let me tell you one thing. I grew up in a home where my father tells me that my father says one thing in Yoruba, will be like, Americans are alone. Do you know what it means? It means that God. My father says this thing every morning. Americans are alone. Do you know what it means? That Americans are the children of God. So I will not ask him, where are we from? He will say, you are the children of the devil. That's what he says, right? So I grew up under the system where people were severely emasculated. Oh, God of mercy. You see, they take your name, they take your identity, they take your language. If you are paranoid enough to want to understand Christianity so much, then you want to learn Hebrew, you are gone. Look, there is a level of desire on both sides that will decide how quick you will submit yourself. Okay? If you how can you call your enemy? They don't understand. They don't understand. They believe they are Jewish. They believe I have people in Nigeria that says they are Jews. But like I always, that's another monkey in a suit based on how they see you. But they believe that they are Jews. Man, this is going to be a long fight, man. It's going to be it's going to be a long fight to free people. But it's not long as our people can continue to can begin to decolonize themselves. And decolonization means, see, look, let me give you one last thing before I go, right? You don't tie my ancestors. You don't put padlock in their mouth. You don't tie chains on their neck. Because if you think your families were not taken, you are lying. Probably they did not make it past the sea or something. You don't treat people like that and come back and tell me you are giving me a book and you are telling me that book is going to save me. Are you playing with me? I don't let preachers talk to me. For you as a Christian to have a feeling of that Christianity, you go to church wearing suits with tie. Go and look at most of your pastors, right? It's that feeling of I am not enough. I have to look Western. It's Western religion, not yours. Then for you to look Arabic, for those that are pursuing their, you will see that they will now tie the entire cranium with Macaria. You cannot think clearly again. You will bring them in by virtue of, it's my brother in religion. But their agenda is one: elimination. That community where they eliminated 200 people, Their homes are already empty. They are taking those homes for free. A lot of people don't understand. And it pains me when I see that people don't get that this is existential. And religion is a big tool. Look, the day you discover and uncover the religious aspect of this this colonization, when people can break through that one, then 50% of the battle is won. That is the biggest battle of all. That is where, thank you very much, you will see a youth in Nigeria who say, I pray. Like, come on, you cannot even develop a toothpick, for God's sake. Your capabilities are destroyed. Pastors are driving cars, they are riding private jets, because some of them already knows that, man, we are living in a lie. Come on. I have been touched by a pastor who was trying to push me, and I noticed that this guy is not performing some miracle. You are trying to push me. That was when I was young. He was trying to push me, and I discovered that, man, this dude is not going down. And it came to a point I held his shirt. Don't push me. Right? Don't push me under the pretext of you're trying to perform a miracle and shine off me. No, don't do that. I stood my ground. Like I said, for people to escape. See, look, I've been on the line of duty where we actually discovered a patient that had certain infection, a viral infection. And the moment we discovered through ELISA and we told the patient that this is what you have and we need to put you on treatment straight away, the first thing that everybody goes to in that situation is denial. She entered denial immediately. Right? And after she entered denial, she ran to church. And the pastor, because of her already weak mental state, took advantage of her. And by the time she came back to the hospital, because she realized that the pastors were lying to her, she was at the end stage of it. I was pained because I witnessed her final moment. Okay. I'm somebody that, from a practical standpoint, I've been able to discover that religion is a tool for conquest. And if you're not careful and you continue to go with that ideology, you will be conquered. Now, let me say this. Religion is a very, very, very sharp tool. Like, it's like a sword for conquest. And that sword will stay for a very long time. If they don't conquer you, probably you escape. The question is, what of the children unborn? It's better that people start getting themselves out of this manipulation. One of the biggest problems is when you tell people this truth, they will duck, they will run, they will do whatsoever, And I understand that this is the bread and butter of some people. But at the end of the day, it's true. Unfortunately, some people are feeding and living off of religion. But like I said, religion is the biggest tool of the imperialists. Some people are dying for the imperialists because they believe that religion has some way, somehow made them one. Don't deceive yourself. Don't do that to yourself. And at the end of the day, you are the one doing that to yourself. The ones that call themselves Jews. Now, you start from reading a certain book and trying to speak. We discovered that some people that are now reading certain books, they don't even know the meaning of what they are reading. They don't know that This is the story of some certain people that they are reading. I used to ask people one question, and this is going to be the last question I'm going to ask. I'm leaving it with the Android community. For those of you that have the mental resilience to stay to this point, because when you bring this conversation, people run. And our objective is to liberate, and liberation means we have to do what we have to do to make people see the truth, even if we require a lot of people running. It doesn't matter. Now, let me say this. They told you that the first woman and the first man was Adam and Eve, right? The first woman and the first man was Adam and Eve. And they gave birth to Cain and Abel, right? So, if Adam and Eve were the first man and they gave birth to Cain and Abel, that's 4 people. 4. You have 4. 4. Let's go by way of knockout for that story. 4. Now, Cain eliminated Abel, right? 3. And they said Cain went travel to a distant land. You see, the people that wrote that story, they were not, I think they were not educated. But, so Cain traveled to a distant land, and there was a mark on Cain. So that when he gets to that distant land, the people in that distant land, they would not eliminate him or do anything bad to him. Who are those people? Who gave birth to those people? Who gave birth to them? If Adam and Eve were the first women, right? Who gave birth to them? Those people. But you know, the side aspect is that people can actually see what I just said right here. But no, they tell you, you cannot understand. That is to completely emasculate your brain from thinking. They tell you, you cannot understand. You cannot understand the ways of this book. So to understand, you have to be completely, in fact, you have to be completely out of your mind. Right? And to be out of your mind is to be knocked out for free. Right? Oh my goodness. So when you hear the Nigerians saying that the US should come and save them, what they are saying, right, is that, look, the people, they believe that you hear God of Israel from their mouth most of the time, but Israel used air defenses, right? And they used a lot of capabilities to defend themselves in the 12-day war. A lot of capability, but you have this same Nigerians saying that the God of Israel should come and defend them. Nobody on this planet can deceive Android. And like I said, Android is not my name. Android is a code word. And when you ask them, when you bring out sophisticated proof to them to eliminate their lies, they will continue to repeat the same thing, as if by repetition you are going to deny the truth. You cannot deny the truth. And the fact that you continue to propagate these lies about religion, it means that you are culpable for the 200 lives that have been wasted in that Wuru community. In that Wuru community. Because you were part of the network of people that propagated that lie. You see, let me tell you something. One of the reasons why the US felt like it was time to go to Nigeria, because one of their biggest imperialist agenda was about to fall. When those Fulani elders, when they entered the mosque in Kwara, when they entered the church in Kwara State, those people were praying. They were in the midst of prayer. Those Fulani entered with so much impunity. They damaged everything. In fact, the old woman that was in that church was not even, that woman was not spared. So a lot of people now want to come. See, at that point, a lot of Nigerians realized that, come on, this God that answers by fire is not going to rescue us right now. Look, they found out that reality. when those Fulani men entered that church, old woman, that woman should be about 90 something. That woman felt it firsthand. Right? That woman felt it categorically firsthand. That man, you are in the midst of prayer. So thunder is supposed to enter and eliminate those Fulani, headers that came to do what, But they entered the church and they dominated everybody. Even the guy that was leading the prayer session, everybody's scampered for safety. But they couldn't do that. They were all eliminated. Now, if they want to deceive you, again, they will tell you, oh, they are martyrs. They gave their life for Christ. Don't deceive yourself, my people. Don't deceive yourself. And look, this is just my opinion. Don't tell me that Andre is trying to. No, 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 no. It's just my opinion. If you can continue, to do what you do, you can, Africa, my thing is Africa needs a lot of decolonization. And I've kept this thing in my mind for a long time. For your brain to completely be working, completely to be liberated, you need to understand the plot of religion. And because of the conflicting agenda of the two empires, I'm talking about the Arab Empire. See, don't forget the Persian, it was called the Persian, it was an empire before. And one of their most effective tools of conquest was religion. To ideologically take you take the soul of those people. Like I said, I will leave you with one last thing. The old woman is alive, but they eliminated others. So, look, it doesn't matter. Those others they eliminated, they are still in the same church. If you see the real picture, of what they did in that church, you will be shocked. At that point, the empire discovered that, look, if we don't move now, the agenda is going to, then the agenda is going to be completely neutralized. And they had to come because those Fulani came into the church to show you that nobody is coming to save you. So the people there are certain people that are benefiting from, religion. So that is it. So inside a burning church, wasting out the stuff. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So my thing is, people should decolonize themselves. I am not going to help more than I have done. I'm only going to say the truth. And for everybody that is against this truth I just spoke right now, you join the Android community by yourself. You can equally live. Nothing will stand against me and the truth. Look, I'm not here for numbers. I am not here for money. I'm not here for anything. I'm here to tell the people the cold truth. So if this particular thing I'm just saying right now is against your interests, so that I don't influence you, you live the way you came. Thank you and God bless you.